Hey, my name's James Nicholson. I hope you guys are well. In this video, I want to talk about the interest rate rise that we're expecting this Thursday. What does that mean for property investors, renters, and everyone really? Because it's going to have a big impact. Now, that is because inflation is expected to rise tomorrow. Well, the official data comes out tomorrow. So we're going to talk about that in this video and more. But if you haven't done already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. We give you honest answers, give you the latest news, and share how to be a good property investor on this channel. So it will really help you. And it's just a great place to hang out. Now, if you haven't done it as well, make sure you smash the like button on the video. That helps us majorly with the YouTube algorithm. We're actually in the last 7 days up to 50,000 views in a week, which is a record and crazy. So I really appreciate every single one of you that watches this channel. So what's going on? Well, inflation. Blimey, we've been talking about this inflation stuff for a long time now, but it's really only been just over a year and a half, isn't it, that we've really been bothered? Because when it initially went up, everyone was like, yeah, it'll go. It didn't. It got to over 11% at one stage, and it's been sticking around for a long time. Now, if you owe debt, which I owe a lot on mortgages, it's actually a good thing. In that instance, it's a good thing. But where it's bad for me as a property investor, you as a homeowner, or maybe someone that rents, is to counter inflation. What they do is they turn up the interest rates. And we've gone from pretty much 0%. I have one of my mortgages fixed at just over 1%, which is incredible. Not going to be so great when it renews. But yeah, we've gone from 1% interest rates to 5.25%. And now we're looking like inflation is going to be going back up. So inflation last month, the data last month shows it is at 6.8%. Now, some of you are going to say it's way higher than that. I can't disagree with that. It depends on your lifestyle as well. So lower income people are hit harder because it's food and energy that have been the most hit by this inflation. And so if you are on a lower income, that's a massive proportion of your daily outgoings, or your monthly outgoings is on your food and your energy. So it's really tough for people, this inflation. And so we're battling it by raising the rates. But the difficulty is this inflation is on the supply side. And so now inflation is starting to go back up. And most people expect tomorrow, let's hope they're wrong, but likely we're looking at inflation going back up to 7.1%. So in real terms, that means things that you buy are still getting more expensive. Even at 6% when it was dropping, it doesn't mean the prices were dropping. It means they were going up less fast. So now we're accelerating again with this inflation. And that's caused by the oil prices, the Brent crude oil price at the moment. And that's because two real countries are taking advantage of this. And we've got Saudi Arabia and Russia. They're cutting the amount of oil they produce. And so by cutting the oil, that means there's less of it out there. So it goes up in price, and it's nearly at $100 a barrel now, which we've had plenty of times in the past. But right now, that's going to then feed through into the food chain. Energy is a big cost of producing food, transporting food, keeping it cold, cooking the food, whatever needs to be done to it. Energy is a massive cost in that industry. And so that means that in the next few months, you'll probably see some more food price increases, which is really not what we want to see. And so the government, they have their policies, which I'm struggling to find what they are, but they say that they're bringing inflation down. They don't really seem to be doing much about it. In other countries, they cut VAT on certain things. They stop the energy companies making excessive profits. I don't know what the UK government is actually doing to help us with inflation. If I'm missing this, because I could be, maybe there is some good policies that I'm just blinkered to and not seen, tell me in the comments what is being done, because I don't see a lot. So the other people that can help or push inflation down is the Bank of England. So they're separate from the government, and so they will raise interest rates. Now, they've done this 14 times in a row, and it hasn't had much impact on inflation at all, because there's a few problems here. One is there's a massive lag. What the analysts suggest is that when you put interest rates up, it actually takes a year for that to filter through and people to really start feeling that. So think about this, right? You've got a mortgage, you're on a fixed rate mortgage, you don't have a credit card. Just say that's your scenario. Now they put the interest rates up, your cost of living hasn't changed next week because your interest rate is fixed. You could be fixed for 5 years, 2 years, 1 year. The people that get really hit are the ones that are coming off their fixed deals, or maybe they've got a lot of credit card debt that can be on variable. So if you have a credit card and the interest rate goes up, they whack the interest rate up pretty quickly, those guys. And so this is not something that we can control, but the Bank of England want to be seen to doing something. And so on Thursday is the Bank of England's meeting. They're going to get this data at 7.1%. Of course, they probably already got that data a week or two ago anyway. They kind of knew that this was coming because Michael Gove, he's been talking in the news that we were going to have a blip on the August data up to 7.1. So now the Bank of England has got to look at this and say, inflation is going back up. We must be seen to do something about this. So what they're going to do is they're going to take the rate from 5.25% and they're going to crank it up. I expect it to go to 5.5%. I think that's what a lot of analysts think is going to happen. So the rate's going to go up another 0.25%, which brings us in line with America. And so that's not going to curb this inflation now. It's going to take so long for people to feel that interest rate rise. We've already had so many of them. I think it's a fruitless effort. I think they've got to be seen to be doing something. It's the only real thing that they're doing. The government doesn't have any policies, and it's just ridiculous, in my opinion, that there's no real policies from either side. I don't hear Labour, Conservatives, or anyone really giving any substantial advice or strategy on what we should be doing to get out of this. So over time, inflation will disappear. The country is likely to go into a recession. We may have over-tightened already. I don't know. Who knows? Comment what you think below on that. But over time, inflation will just disappear because once you've had a 7% rise, is it going to keep going up by 7%? Maybe not. At some point, the prices will level out and they'll say we've defeated inflation, but we haven't really. We're just now stuck at the higher prices and it's not going up anymore. That's not really great for people. And one thing that really is hitting people is when these rates go up, we've got to hope that the mortgage providers don't pass this rate hike on to us. Now, I don't think they will. I'm really quite optimistic that they might not pass that on, which they haven't done in the recent rate rises because their business is slowing down. They want to lend more money. But if it does, that means mortgage payments are going to go up again significantly for people. That means buy-to-let landlords will put their rents up, and that means that those people will be stuck on high rents. Lots of landlords are putting up their rents massively at the moment, and that is causing people to have more pain. Rental increases are way more painful than food increases, in my opinion, because let's just say you shop for food, you can change what you eat, you can change your diet, but the rental cost is there forever, and that's the biggest chunk of your monthly payment. So interest rates are going to go up this week. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. What do you think? Do you think I'm right? Do you think they're going to go up 5.25% to 5.5%? What is interesting as well is the Federal Reserve. They've got their meeting tomorrow. They're likely to pause. They're likely to have a pause. I think that's that second pause for them. We haven't had a pause. We're just going straight through, hammering up our interest rates because we started a little bit lower. And so if we go from 5.25 to 5.5, that means we're the same level as the USA. And we often, what they call is follow the Fed, follow what the Federal Reserve do. So we'll be equal with those guys now. Might mean the pound gets a little stronger if they pause and we rise. So that could help us a little bit because we import so much. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I think rates are going up. I don't think it's great. I think they should pause. I think they should be waiting to see what happens. I think we've done enough tightening now. We need some policies from the government that actually help bring inflation down, not just sit on their hands. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do like the video, guys. That really helps us here. Subscribe, help us get to 10,000. Go and watch another video on the channel. Maybe go and watch this one right here.